Hello, Facebook Live. This is the Epic Vibe Show with Dr. Vibe, and that is me, Dr. Stephen Schwartz, Dr. Vibe, and I am here today with my very special guest and Vibe co-pilot on the Epic Vibes Tour, Miss lovely Brielle Bataille. And we're back.
We are back.
We are back in Los Angeles, and what a 3-week journey we've been on.
Wow. All I can
Whirlwind,
say is
right?
wow. It was epic. It was so epic.
You know, when we talked about having an Epic Vibes tour, we really did that. And, you know, I'm not sure how many of you have really been following our shows, but this is episode number 17. And one of the things we say is that our episodes, they keep getting better and better, right?
Totally.
And we keep hitting new milestones. And first is like, how can we have the show? And we have this great backdrop. And we've been really creating our own live set, the Epic Vibe Show with Dr. Vibe. We've had some really incredible guests on. I don't know when to start going through who's some of the recaps.
Well, so I think that's a really great place to start, just because we're on episode 17, and we've really just I feel like kept amping it up. And so the last week, our show was live in New Jersey.
Well, before we get into that, I'm talking about like who we were talking about, like the prior to the live shows.
Oh, who we've had on?
Yeah.
Well, we've had Xander Tron, and we've had Moto House, 2 producer DJs. We've had Bob Barringer.
That's what I was just thinking of.
Who was super awesome. And we've had Miss Imsley.
We had a lot of core team members.
We've had Clifton.
Yep.
And thinking of those 2, I'm like, we should make those other people on our team. That
yeah, we have a couple other people.
We have some missing people that need to. They're up for their.
You guys are up for your Epic
JJ and Anthony, if you're listening.
Anthony Powers would be awesome on
yeah,
the show.
you guys need to be on the show.
Okay, so
you're invited.
maybe next week. Next week.
Anyway.
So in terms of this tour, though, I remember we started saying to ourselves, well, what are we going to do about that? Are we going to cancel? I remember maybe like a month and a half back, we were where were we? We were in Ojai. And we're like, let's cancel the show. And we did one canceled show over Memorial Day. I think it was Memorial Day weekend. And
it was on Memorial Day.
It was on Memorial Day. And we're like, oh, it's Memorial Day. And you know what? It didn't really feel right. It's like we're doing our regular show.
We're in a flow now with
yeah.
the show. And I think we both really, I was actually thinking earlier as I was just like, oh, I'm going on the show today. Like my first time going on the show, I was nervous. And I was like, I'm not really nervous this time. And the last time I was on, I didn't say anything, and it was kind of like I didn't say anything, but I was not feeling very well. I was kind of had like a horsey throat.
What
and
episode
so
was that?
I was
Do you remember?
thinking, I was just reflecting. I don't know, but I just was reflecting on how.
Go back through and find the second.
Of all the shows I've been on, this is my 3rd appearance. This is actually, they say 3rd time's the charm. This one I feel the most prepared for, just because I'm not nervous. It's not my first time on, and I have a lot to talk about. I feel like our trip was just really epic, and there's just so many amazing highlights. It's kind of like, where do we begin, right?
Well, you know what they say. Well, you know what I say about where we begin.
At the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
And the reason that I have Brielle on the Epic Vibe Show with me today is really simple. She's been with me for the last 3 weeks as we have traversed this entire beautiful country that is known as the United States of America. And I think, ironically, we got back at the end of the 4th of July weekend. On Independence Day weekend, we got back late Sunday night, and we woke up this morning and we're ready to go. So is it okay if I just kind of do the rundown of where we've been?
Yeah, but you gotta let me give my highlights too.
Well, I think what we'll do is I'll go through and just go through it, and you can chime in
Okay.
on where we were.
All right.
How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. This is a live show, everybody, and also I feel like we really got a chance to figure out how to work together on this last 3 weeks.
I feel like the trip definitely brought us a lot closer, and I have to say too, like, I've been on road trips with people, and I've kind of like, you know, you learn about people on road trips, and you kind of, you know, I've left some road trips going, oh no, I'll never, you know, like I'll never go on a trip with that person again. And it's interesting, my mom, you know, she went on a trip with somebody to actually one of the places we went to, and she just was reflecting some different things, and what it did was it made me. It's not important what she said. She went to Sedona, and it's not really important what she said, but what is important is that I was really just grateful that you were the person I was with on this trip, and not somebody who was complaining or like, you know, just people have different energies on trips.
I complained a little bit.
Well, and you did. Well, but you know, like there's a lot of people that kind of have that, like, are we there yet?
Yeah.
You know, and like I really think for 3 weeks being stuck in like close quarters together, I feel like we both did really well. Like I really think I was not surprised, but I was delighted by your company on the trip, and just also by all the experiences we had and how good everything was and how epic some of the things that kind of happened were. And so I just feel like it brought us together as closer friends, as closer partners, as closer co-workers and colleagues in the work we're doing, and as lovers too. I feel like we're a better team now, and so I love you.
It's live here on the Epic Vibe Show, that's for sure. So let's go through where we went. I mean, what we left on June 15th, and we drove to Scottsdale, Arizona, and we had I remember, so we called I think what's interesting about this trip, as we can kind of set the stage here, is this company has been really being activated on the fly since the new year. Since the first round of vibes that came out on December 31st, 2018, since we drove to Vegas on January 6th for CES and for the CES pre-party with Think EXP, we've been kind of on the fly ever since. And what's been happening is people from my old company and from my new company, people have just been showing up. And I think the first rule of this company, as people are wanting to be a part of this company, is they're like, I want to sell for you, or I want to do this for you, or I want to do whatever they want to do. And you know what I say to them?
Do it.
No. Well, what did I say before that? What's the first rule of the interview? Do we vibe? Do we vibe? And so we've had all these people that we've been vibing with since the beginning of the year. And as far as I'm concerned, if we're vibing, we'll find the perfect place for you in this organization, because we're committed to only working with people that vibe. And one of my longtime vibey friends, actually that I met through my holistic health science days, Brent Sonata, he has been circulating around for the last couple years, pops in and out of the radar, and it's interesting because he's been like, I want to do sales for you, and I was like, great, but he was in Arizona, and we just never quite clicked. And when we ended up, remember, it was that Monday before we left, and energetically, this trip was not feeling right.
Yeah, we kind of knew the places that we were gonna go. We were like clear on where we were going, but we didn't really have the order of operations. We didn't have the flow of when we were gonna show up where and how it was all gonna.
Well, we were gonna go north, and then each one by one, those appointments weren't lining up. So that Monday, we completely scrapped the whole trip that we had planned, and we just put out phone calls on the southern journey, and all of a sudden it was like yes, 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 yes. This is a yes universe. And I remember saying to Brent, I said, "Hey, we're coming to Phoenix Friday. Can you put together a venue?" He goes, "You realize you're giving me 3 days to," and I said, "Yeah."
Good job, Brent. You did it.
Thank you, Brent.
That was a good test, and the venue was really beautiful.
Why don't you talk about
for that first set? So we were at Anahata Yoga and Sound Healing, and the yoga studio just had the most beautiful, just very large, open kind of format, beautiful gongs at the front, beautiful crystal bowls that were really well lit, and just the vibe was just so good in there, and it was such a beautiful place to just find ourselves and be delighted and surprised by.
And we were sitting there, like, I remember I was wondering, I really didn't have any expectations other than we knew that we were on tour and that Brent was putting something together, and A+.
Yeah, we had like almost, I want to say more than 10 people.
We had 20 people.
Yeah, we had almost 20 people,
20 people
show up, and we put the thing together in like just a couple of days.
Yeah.
And we had never been to the venue before. We've never done an event in this incarnation of your company in Scottsdale. I don't know if you ever were there with your past incarnations, but I actually went on a trip to Scottsdale last August and really liked it. And so I felt like it was cool that I found myself there again this summer, and just, I really like it there. Scottsdale, it does have a cool vibe, and this place really, I think after
It has a hot vibe.
It's very hot there in the summer for sure. The chocolate, don't take chocolate. I learned my lesson. Right?
Yeah, don't leave chocolate in the car.
Chocolate melted.
Yeah.
But if you can handle melting chocolate, then
Yeah.
Which some people really like.
So we went through and we and had an amazing event, made some major connections, and I think that's the key to this whole tour is, for all of you that's been watching this show, you see the accelerated growth that we've been having really since the new year, and we're already under a third round of manufacturing just in this short amount of time, and all of this has been really anchored through Southern California and Los Angeles and San Diego and all the way up north, up and down the California coast, and we're in 3 different countries outside the United States already, which I'm really, really proud of. And we're also we're in Florida, we're in Michigan, we're in Utah, outside of California, we're in Arizona, and a couple others, which I'm going to share with you shortly. But we're expanding across the United States so quickly. But this is the first time that we actually took this on the road and reactivated communities. And I'm all about community. I feel like this technology is important, but I feel like the number one thing that I missed, that this is all about, is about creating community. And the only thing that I actually really miss about my other company at all is the community that I work so hard to connect with. So as we're starting a new community, and we're going back into places that I established a community before, we're going back in with a new energy and a new vibe. And it's really clear. And the results of that vibe are really being seen because of the people that are showing up. We reconnected with some of my old ASA doctors, which owned some of my old sound lounge technology, which was a real treat for me and a blessing and an honor. Victor and Max, your son, and thank you guys for coming out and connecting. And then we drove up to Sedona. And
so beautiful.
This was your first time to Sedona.
I loved it. It was just like it was one of those places where everywhere you went, you look around and it's just like magnificent, and it's not like, in Colorado, you're either like in the foothills in Denver, if you're in Denver, in downtown Denver, you could be in places where you don't see the mountains,
Yeah.
so you don't even really feel like you're in Colorado. Sedona, it's like no matter where you go, you look around and you're totally surrounded by just this majestic, magical red rock kind of. Yeah, it's a total vortex, and I definitely was experiencing some physical symptoms that made me very clear that I was in a vortex, and so that was interesting. And just kind of one of those things, like I wasn't able to kind of ignore the vortex.
Sure.
I was like fully like
in the vortex.
I had my seatbelt on. I was like riding the vortex, like so.
So we go to Sedona, and it's just, I spent my Saturn return birthday in Sedona for the first time when I was 28 years old, and that was an amazing gift. And since then, that particular location holds a very close place to my heart. And as we activated that area with my first company, that was something that it just really meant so much. I felt I always said that I call that my spiritual hometown for my other products, for my other company. I haven't been back until this trip. And, as a projector, we always talk about human design, as projectors, you wait for the invitation. And I've always said that I only go to Sedona when I'm invited. And the invitation was not really coming around until this trip. And for those of you who caught the show, this is where we did our first live Epic Vibe show with Dr. Vibe, and we had a very special guest, Mr. Jason Stiles, one of my dear friends and colleagues.
Total wizard,
super Pythagoras, rocking the Pythagoras.
And his cute little baby Desmond, he is just so adorable, and his wonderful wife Liv, and just our entire experience with them, because we had met them a few weeks earlier. I had met them for my first time a few weeks earlier here in California, and we just had such a fun night. And then to get to connect with them in their home of Sedona, and just to see what the spaces that Jason is building there. He's got this amazing showroom for his company iPyramids. And it was really just so spectacular to see all of his different technology kind of displayed in that space, and then to get to film you guys and have the show filmed there with all the cool stuff. And it was just like, it was the coolest on location venue I could possibly imagine.
If we're gonna do a first ever, that was a great spot.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But what's even better about that show was the pre-show. Because right before we did the show, as a life eclipse, so this whole recap is this one big life eclipse happening. And I remember the first time I went to Sedona with my other company, it was fresh out of the box, right out of the factory. We went there, and I was invited I was doing a workshop in Sedona. That's where I was going, and I brought the first Vassal Series 1 there, and I remember I was like, I need to do a photo shoot, and I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a photographer, didn't have a model, didn't have any of these things. I was like, whatever, we're gonna work it out. And long story short, all those things happened, and if any of you see any of the materials from Sedona, they were all shot that first time that we brought the Vassal Series 1 to Sedona. And so going back, I was just thinking to myself, it'd be really great to go back with the new Vibe 3.1 and Vibe 3.2 with our brand new headphones and all the new look designs that we've been working so hard on. I couldn't think of a better place to do a photo shoot. And once again, leaving it into the vortex, we ended up getting connected with one of your really special friends.
Yeah, so one of my good friends from my Arise Music Festival days, Nicole Nez, showed up, and she's now living in Sedona with her partner Steven, ironically and synchronistically and magically. And she just saw a post that I was in Sedona on Facebook, reached out to me, and we ended up having lunch. And then we weren't even really talking about a photo shoot at lunch. We kind of were having, we were just talking.
I said if we're gonna do a photo shoot, we have to do it now because the sun's going down.
You're like, this is the time, and then of course, Nicole's like, okay, like like let me see what I can do, and suddenly we're just,
whisked away to
in this
perfect,
the perfect place.
The
the location we did the photo shoot at was called Lover's Knoll, and it was just it was a perfect time of day. It was a perfect location, and it was the perfect photographer. I mean, the photographer that we had,
who are named anonymous.
Well, his name is Steven. We can share his name. He has a background and was for many years a high fashion photographer in Europe, and he totally gifted us his amazing skills. And really, I just can't thank Nicole more for connecting us to him, and being willing to help us so suddenly, and it really had this very strong air of just like total magic and total just like instant manifestation. The universe wanted us to have that photo shoot in that moment right there, and it just all kind of fell into place in perfect timing. And
then we left right from there to the Epic Vibe show.
Yeah, and then we went and shot the show. We were like running from here, running to there, and then the Epic Vibe show happened. That was awesome. And then we spent a little bit of the evening with Jason and Nicole, and everyone kind of came through.
Had a little after party.
Yeah, we had a little party, and it was just so nourishing. That whole experience in Sedona was just so nourishing and so supportive. I really felt that I had the total portal, vortex experience, just with the people I met, what happened, the food I ate, and just for me, I've always thought of this whole journey as a medicine journey, and like a sacred journey. And that stop on the tour just really anchored that in. Each stop definitely.
Well, and not just that, but remember we ended up in Sedona and we ended up bumping into Zandiel in the bathroom from LA. We're like, oh, what are you doing here? And so that was just another little synchronicity that came through Sedona. But that's what happens in Sedona. And what's so beautiful is I feel like there was a couple other full circle events that we're going to move on from at this point, but I feel that I couldn't have thought of a better way of starting over in a new town that I love so much with this technology than the way that we did it, and with the new people that we connected with. And the energy in Sedona that's associated with bioharmonic technologies is being firmly rooted, and we will be back. And we're just getting started there, and it brings me a lot of joy and pride with all of our new Vibe Tribe members. So then we left there, and we took off to Santa Fe, another vortex. And I think what's interesting about this part of the journey was leading up to getting onto this trip. I was writing, I'm going to take a moment just to plug the book. So I'm honored and privileged to announce that I'm a contributing author in a book called the Wake Up Happy Brain book. And I'm one of 30 different authors that are contributing a chapter with the likes of Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Dr. Patrick Porter, and a variety of Dr. Brett Brimhall, and a variety of other laundry list of visionary thinkers and visionary writers and practitioners that specialize in how to make your brain and nervous system very happy. And that book's going to be coming out really shortly, but I remember I needed my chapter to be done by the 20th. And I was just saying to Brielle, I was like, this has to be done before we leave, because I don't see me sitting down and putting any kind of hours into this anywhere on the road. And between that and getting the next round of vibes all completed, and it was just this crazy, insane time that was going into getting out of town. And then as soon as we got out of town, it was we were in Scottsdale, and then we were in Sedona, and then we did a photo shoot at the Vibe show, and then finally and then we're getting ready to go into Sonic Bloom, and between point A and point B, we were able to go to Santa Fe. And I was able to get my chapter done. Before we left, I needed to do a little kind of final last edit before it all got sent off to the powers that be. And Nicole, she gifted us, she's like, let me make a phone call. And we ended up spending 2 of the most magical days of this entire trip in Santa Fe.
Santa Fe really helped us, I think, on this trip. It was a pause, but it was like a work pause. It was like we needed that moment to just like ground, have that space in between the vortex and the high energy and intensity of Sedona and the super vortex high energy of Sonic Bloom. I really feel like Santa Fe came through for us as like, we were able to just kind of like breathe, kind of finish up those last little things we needed to do work-wise, and then it really put us in a really good space with our rest and our mindset. I feel like we really went into the rest of the trip to Sonic Bloom, and then the rest of the trip in a really good space because of that stop in Santa Fe.
And we took that extra day.
And we did a little check-in. We did that video. We went to these. We did a really wonderful walk through Santa Fe, and it was, I think, the first time for me I really connected to how incredible our focused and centric. I mean, the art in Santa Fe is just, it's so incredible, and it's such a beautiful place. And we went into that church, and we lit a candle, and we said some intentions, and we said some prayers there, and we really anchored in that energy that I think really helped us with the continuance of the epic vibe of this entire tour. And I think it was those moments where we had that little bit of breathing room throughout this trip that really helped it to just go so well, and just to have, kind of continued the momentum of the magic.
That was our projector recharge portal.
Yeah,
we went in there and just got a chance to, and we stayed in this beautiful casita. We had a whole house to ourselves, and it was just in the perfect location, and we were able to set up a new vibe community and anchor in some new energy. Because really, before Sedona, even though I went to Sedona when I was in Colorado, my Colorado vortex getaway joint was Santa Fe, and because Sedona was just kind of far, but 6 hours from Denver, I could get down there and go there and go up to Taos and Crestone and do my little vortex weekend. And so it was nice. I hadn't been back there in a long time, and it was just really great to go with you, and it was great just to spend our time there and connect with Guadalupe and all the special energies. And then we took off to the next stop on the Epic Vibes tour, which was which was anchoring the whole reason we were anchoring this tour was for 2 reasons. One was, the primary reason was Sonic Bloom. And, this was your 7th consecutive Sonic Bloom.
This was my 7th consecutive Sonic Bloom. Wow, I can't believe that I'm even saying that. It's just really been such a profound thing for me in my life. I remember the first Sonic Bloom that I went to by myself. Like, I drove there with a friend of mine, but he was working backstage, and at that time I was still in school for entertainment. I knew that it was going to be something that I was pursuing, but I didn't really know anyone. I didn't really have any friends. I was a sophomore in college at Johnson & Wales pursuing my degree in entertainment and events management, and I had been told by a girlfriend of mine that Sonic Bloom was an amazing event. Oh, you gotta go. And so I bought a ticket thinking like, oh, her and I were gonna go, and she ended up not being able to go, and I was like, I think I still wanna go, and so I remember that first year, I didn't even have a tent, I was sharing a tent, and I had been really fortunate to connect with some really cool musicians earlier that year in Boulder. They go by, their band is called Sunsquabi, and I was one of their first fans when they were still playing very small shows. They've gotten very, very famous now, and they're world touring. And I think one of the band members got married recently, so congratulations. But it was super interesting to reflect on the fact that first year I didn't really know anyone, but I had been kind of hanging out with this band, and so I was camping kind of with their crew. They opened the first Sonic Bloom that I went to, which was in I want to say it was 2012 or 2013. Anyway, they opened the festival, and it was now they're like a headliner. So it just really shows, like, even just sharing that kind of shows how much things have changed in that 7 consecutive years.
Or what 7 years can do.
The growth.
Where are we going to be in 7 years?
The growth of the people that I went. I mean, it's just been so quantum. The growth of myself as a result of going and immersing myself in what I would call my first transformational festival experience. I've been to other festivals. I grew up in Austin. I was going to ACL and bluegrass festivals in Austin from a very young age, and always had been going to concerts since I was in the womb, but to go to a festival like this where it's 4-day, multi kind of genre. At that time it was even more multi-genre. Now it's very heavy electronic, but it was more multi-genre. And it was at this place called Shadows Ranch, which was right off of the freeway in Georgetown, which I bring up because we just drove through Georgetown on our way back. And really, it's been really cool to watch the festival of Sonic Bloom really bloom. And that first year, it was crazy. We had like a micro burst, and everybody's tent, like in an instant, kind of like flew into the air. And it was like this crazy portal vortex energy, and a lot of crazy things happened that first year that like everyone remembers that was there, and everyone had a life-changing experience. And I had a very spiritual and profound experience going by myself and meeting people, making friends, seeing and immersing myself in that event changed my entire life 100%. And after the festival, I was so moved by my experience that I decided I was going to make this Facebook group to try to connect and reconnect, stay in touch with the people that I had met. And I thought it would be, just a few people that I had met at the festival that I would use this group for. Facebook groups were very new at that point. They weren't like they are now. And now that group has grown to 10,000 plus people.
How many were in it initially?
Like a 30, like the people that I met, like, my crew, Sunsquabi, the band that I went with.
That's probably why they're headlining, because like the group is like.
Well, and it's interesting because Sunsquabi hasn't appeared at Sonic Bloom in a few years, but I would like them to. So
next year,
anyone in power is listening to this, book Sunsquabi.
Book Sunsquabi.
Because they're awesome.
We saw a lot of really amazing acts.
Yeah, this year I really liked Emancipator. We had a really good time jamming to Emancipator with Adam Apollo.
So yeah, we had so it wasn't all just funny, but we did have a lot of fun on the Sonic Bloom, and this whole tour has been fun. But I was booked for a workshop, and that was why we were there. And I know that this was, Brielle really wanted me to go. Normally this time of year, for the summer solstice, I normally find myself south of the border, down at one of my favorite festivals, and one of my first-time festivals, Genius Loki. So this year I first went to Genius Loki when I was living in Colorado. Now I'm living in California, and I went to Colorado for Sonic Bloom, which was my first year going to. So thank you for the invitation, and thank you, Jamie, and thank you everybody for inviting me to do a workshop in my old stomping grounds of Colorado, which really brought back a lot of energy and momentum and just excitement and people. We bumped a bunch of people that we knew. And what I thought was interesting is I've gone to a lot of transformational festivals, and I've spoken at a lot of workshops there. And what I really liked about the way that Jamie set up this event is a lot of times, during transformational festivals, they just play like hardcore electronic music all day, and people just get like really wasted, like for 4 days straight,
Right.
you know. And then there's like, oh, I wanted to come to your workshop, but I was like wasted doing whatever I was doing. And they really set it up where during the day, like the headliners were the speakers, and then the headliners of the musical acts were at night. And I instead of just like, oh, you know, you're just like a speaker at some festival, the people that spoke, I was so honored to share the stage with some amazing people. Adam Apollo was one of them. Jamie Danover, he spoke the day before, and then Alan Green.
Yeah,
spoke. Amanda Sage, a visionary,
world famous visionary artist.
just incredible. In fact, I've been quoting her about, like, you know, lifting up the skirt. I've been thinking about lifting up my skirt. Like, I feel like I've been lifting up my skirt and exposing the world to what's under there with this whole new company of Bioharmonic Technologies.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm exposing myself and allowing myself to be exposed, but also sharing the best part of me.
Well, and I have to mention this because I think it's important for people to understand and for people to know. And it came up earlier today, actually, but. You know, Steve applied to be a presenter and teach a workshop on his own. I didn't like get him into the festival. Like, you know, I've worked with Sonic Bloom for three years now, in a paid, you know, marketing capacity, and I get, you know, messaged a lot by people who want to try to get booked for the festival or teach or do whatever it may be. And what I have to tell you is, just go to the website and apply, because that's how we do it, and that's how we decide who gets to come in and to do these different things and to teach workshops. And I will just say that, like, I don't have any extra special magic power to get you booked. If you are selected, it's because you genuinely are part of the vibe, and you're going, and the curation is done by a wonderful, for workshops at least, it's done by a wonderful woman who's worked on probably more Sonic Blooms than I've attended, Stefanity Salazar, and she was also one of the presenters and presented a really great workshop that Steve even commented was very good in setting a lot of foundation and premise for then additional things that Steve and some of the other people built on. And so that's kind of when you're wondering, like, how do I get booked for, you know, if you're somebody who's wanting to be booked to speak at and teach workshops at festivals.
Go on the website.
Go on the website and apply. But also, you know, think about the type of people who may be speaking there, and try to tailor your information. Or, like, I think creating interdimensional portals for Sonic Bloom is totally perfect, you know.
But I also knew I also was looking at, like, what this festival's about.
Yeah.
And I created a workshop for it. But whether you're doing for a workshop or whether you're doing a conference, whatever, it's got to align in the vibe.
Yep.
Period. And it's funny because we were having this conversation because Brielle, she was like, you know, not everybody gets. It's hard to get. Like, I was like, I'll get in. I mean, I get into everything I apply for because I have a really good message to share. And at these festivals, even starting back to where it all began in Colorado through Shamanic Boom, I had a message to share with them, and the promoter wanted me to be part of that group because it was good for the community. And I was able to grow by being part of the community. And I thought that was really, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from being a presenter, just being there and being able to rub elbows. You know, Adam Apollo's a new friend of mine, and I'm excited to spend more time with him. And I learned a lot that I didn't know really anything about him, and how he was integral in starting the Resonance Foundation with Nassim Harriman, and just the things that they're up to. And
and you were so well received, and there were so many moments in your workshop that I just went, yes, like that exactly. Like, you were so on point with the vibe. you know, I've gone to a lot of talks and workshops at festivals over the years, and I've been at some where, you know, you sit down and then there's some group that goes on and that's some popular thing, and then people start to, you know, kind of flutter out of the. People stayed at your workshop for the entire talk. They were very engaged, they were asking questions, they were raising their hands, they were clapping when they were, you know, there was an excitement and an energy that you created. And I was really impressed by it. And I have to say, of all the times I've heard you speak, this was by far my favorite of your talks. And I really
respond well. Like, I like big crowds.
Right.
You know, I mean, I can do little crowds and that's fine, but I prefer like
bigger crowds.
Yeah, I like, you know, so, you know, if you want to book me for any kind of stadium, motivational speaking, please, Bioharmonic Technologies, Facebook, or you can message me at drsteve@bioharmonictechnologies.com, and I'm available. And really, that's the platform. Because I feel like the Vibe technology, this is my phase one of really what we're getting started with. And I'm very passionate about creating interdimensional portals, because it's not science fiction, it's science fact. And it's based off of very specific geometry. It's based off very specific laws of nature.
Frequency.
And we're combining those into applied sciences for this new millennium. And I'm really excited to keep developing this conversation into the masses. And we're doing workshops and trainings on this. So Bioharmonic Technologies is really beginning to mature outside of just being a music company and just being a hardware company, but into a lifestyle company of bringing out the optimal human performance in everybody that wants to come vibe with us. And this is what's exciting. And Sonic Bloom, it was so great being back in Colorado, and we just had a good time. We had a hailstorm.
It was incredible. The hailstorm that was happening during Jamie Janover's Unified Field Theory presentation was just one of, I would say, of all the 7 years I've been to Sonic Bloom, there have been some really wild stuff that's happened over the years, but this might be the pinnacle of just weather crazy, you know, like we've had microbursts and we've had rain, but wow, like that was incredible. And it was really incredible because we were all huddled underneath that tent. We were all totally safe, you know, and we were protected, but what they were talking about at the front of the stage and the weather were totally congruent.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were talking
about the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And the secret messages of it. And
yeah.
They were talking, and all of a sudden Jamie said something which we will not reveal because I feel it's secret and we don't want to have it displaced throughout the internet here. I would recommend going to Sonic Bloom. I'm sure they have the video posted there, as is my video. And we have it posted on the Bioharmonic Technologies Facebook page. So please watch my workshop in its entirety, as well as all the other Epic Vibe shows that we did live while on the tour. I think we should move on to
the next
the
stop.
tour. Yeah, the next stop, because we're not even halfway through the tour, and I don't know how much time we have going on here. But anyhow, we'll keep going at the moment. So we got out of there and we took off up to Pueblo for a quick night to get some sleep, and then we traversed the prairies all the way to Kansas City. And I just remember saying to myself, why are we going to Kansas City? And I was like, what are we doing? And you know what? We just kept getting yes to Kansas City. We just sold a new Vibe to an amazing chiropractor there, one of my longtime Schwartz fans and good buddies, Josh Inman, who's one of our affiliates and Vibe Sound Lounge owner, and just a Schwartz fan of mine, which I really appreciate. Josh, if you're watching this, thank you so much. And he called me because I was trying to almost get out of it, you know, like, hey, you know, it's really far. And he just wrote me this really sweet text saying, I really appreciate you taking the time to come out here, and I'm excited to introduce you to this community out here. And we show up, and he had it all set up, and we had this beautiful Sunday brunch. I think it was it Monday? What day it was? I don't know. I think it was Monday, actually.
It was Tuesday.
And we had this beautiful,
But it was like a Sunday brunch.
We had like a Sunday brunch-esque situation. We got to meet the local tribe.
Yeah.
And it was really beautiful because we had one vibe there, and that's all it really takes. I say this to Brielle. I'm about to be teaching our first vibrational sound therapy class this Saturday in Santa Monica, California. Please come and register. You can register through our webpage. But we've been talking on this trip because you want to sell vibes, and you want to really activate these things that we're talking about. And I've been in practice for 16 years, and I've had successful practices, and I know what it takes to kind of get the ball rolling. And I've always said to myself, if you have one patient, you have all the ingredients you need to have a successful practice, because that one patient can refer you 1 million people, and if you take care of them appropriately. And we had one vibe in Kansas City by an amazing doctor, Dr. Joe Gustafson. Hello, Dr. Joe. And we had an amazing friend of mine that really believes in what we're doing, and that's the ingredients for a community. And a couple other people showed up there that were musicians and DJs and composers and this, and I was like, perfect.
It was so great to just be. It was cool to show up because I think neither one of us really knew what to expect. It was cool to show up and to feel like we had a whole tribe that was showing up
that are
to
eager
be
to be part of the vibe tribe,
of what was happening, and want to know more, and you're interested in this, and so that just felt so good. So thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you to all of Kansas City.
And it was kind of interesting. Should we share the?
Well, we'll do it on the comeback trip. So the interesting thing is we were there, and then we
took off.
We literally took off on an airplane with a destination back. So this was kind of our work section of the trip. And I'm from New Jersey, and Brielle, she is named after a small fishing town. A borough in New Jersey. And I have not been home to see my family in well over a year since the transition with my other company, and we've been really in lockdown mode in California, and I miss my family very much. And my nephew, my sister's oldest son, who I remember when he was born, was graduating high school and is about to be going to Lehigh University on a full scholarship for engineering. Justin, I am ecstatically so excited for you, and I was excited to come. And Sonic Bloom and graduation were the same weekend, so we came the week after. And on the same time, one of my dear friends from high school that has been, I guess she's been a Schwartz fan since high school. It's really funny. I mean, we've literally, the energy has really never changed. And she bought a vibe, and more than she bought a vibe, she bought one of my pre-sale vibes. And all of the people that have bought pre-sale vibe mean the most to me because I had no money.
They believed in you before there was even anything.
Yeah, before I had anything. I mean, it was just an idea.
They put their faith in you.
They put their faith in me, and they put money into the company. And
they in a way are the founders.
They are the founders.
Yeah.
They are the founding people, the founding vibers, the founding
vibe members,
the founding vibe members, the founding
tribe
vibe
members.
And Connie, you're one of them.
We love you, Connie.
And it really means a lot to me, along with all the other founding Vibe Tribe members. And this company was begun off of pre-sales and a philosophy of wanting to harmonize humanity and raising the vibration of the planet using sound, light, frequency, and vibration. And Dr. Schwartz. And we got on an airplane, and we were there to A, see my family, and B, to inaugurate the first Vibe in New Jersey in an amazing space called the Vibe Boutique, which is in Hainesport, New Jersey, right off of Route 38.
Next to the Browse Around shop.
Next to the Browse Around shop, and just a quarter of a mile from the same car wash that I used to work at when I was in high school. And it's a beautiful, perfect location. It's amazing what you can get for what money in Hainesport, New Jersey versus Venice Beach, California, FYI. And but it's a beautiful space, and it's going to be ultra successful, and we are here to support that endeavor in any way we can. And more importantly than that, well, not more importantly than that, but also New York, which has been coming for a long time, also got activated with a new 3.1, and we are gonna be. They also came down to be a part.
Clifton and Victoria, our Vibe Tribe members, came down from New York,
Brooklyn, New York,
to New
South
Jersey,
Jersey, a couple hours,
to vibe with us and we did a great show, and we all kind of huddled up together at the end, and we set intentions for what we would like to, like, the new dimension we wanted to realign ourselves with.
That was the second epic.
And it was so powerful, and it was such a good, it was so, I felt like we were like, that was like your whole family, like we were like just a little family kind of all huddling together, and we let go of, I felt this sense of like we were kind of letting go of, you know, because both your parents both your parents were there who haven't been married for, I mean, they're both
25 years.
Yeah, but it was amazing. Like it was like, because in some families I know, like divorced parents, like they would never be caught dead in the same like room, let alone like be huddling together and like. But it was really
well. There was
beautiful.
There was like this cute little like Newman, like in Seinfeld, like you know how like Jerry and Newman don't get along, and he's like, "Hello, Newman." Hi, Jerry. There was a little
like that.
Jack and my dad moment that happened when we first walked in, which I thought was just really funny because I was totally setting up and totally not paying attention, but I just kind of at the corner of my mind I saw it and I thought it was really funny.
But anyway,
but they get along great. Sorry, I wanted to interject that. Really
but the point is, we all came together, and I think that's getting back to what we're doing with building a community. You know, one of the articles that I read, that I didn't even mention anything about this to you, but it's kind of been coming in while we've been talking, is, you know, I've been doing social media for a living for years now, and, you know, one of the articles I read when we were in the airport, I think it was heading back from New Jersey, was this article, what's the difference between a social media manager and a community manager? And really, the defining line there is, social media manager, you know, they do posts, they're doing the content curation, they're actually speaking as your brand. Whereas a community manager is kind of acting as a community builder within your brand and as themselves. So they're kind of an ambassador for your company, and they're speaking on behalf of what somebody within your company is. And I think what's really cool about this company is that we don't just have, you know, we're not just like standing up with a megaphone to the masses. We're actually having these conversations with people. We're not talking at our customers. We're talking to our customers, and we're having a conversation within a dynamic space about what we're doing. And it's not just about laying on a vibrating bed. It's about actually setting intentions for how we want to harmonize ourselves and our families, and our communities. And it's about coming together for that greater purpose of harmonizing humanity. And so it's been really cool, with each different stop on the tour, just to kind of bring it back. You know, it's been really cool to really see that, and to see how the people showing up, they're not really just interested in the product. They're interested in the message, and the message that we have to share, and they're interested in you and your message, but also in the other people, you know, and kind of how other people are using this technology in in their practices and how it's transforming their lives and the lives of those that they love for the better. And so that's really one of the things that's been most inspiring for me.
We're not the only game in town when it comes to vibrating beds, but we are the only game in town when it comes to an integrated, multi-sensory experience with what gets played through the vibrating beds.
Yeah.
And that's really what this comes down to is, well, what's the intention of the company, and what's the energy of the people that are running the company. And one of the two things is I'm committed to is making the highest quality, best vibratory product on the market. I'm committed to that. I'm also committed to providing the best customer service. And we've had our episodes of customer service while on this trip with our customers. And I think there's been some some technical issues here and there. And for me as an artist and as a tech designer, I take the highest level of pride in terms of every vibe that goes out, that they will last and perform as advertised for years to come. And anything less than that is 100% not acceptable. And I'm committed to making sure that this company maintains that level of integrity. And when we were out in New Jersey, we were able to have this opening with Connie, and my entire family was there, and our spiritual family and so we were able to. It wasn't a huge gathering, but what I thought was interesting is Connie was able to. She wasn't anywhere on social media at all, and we were helping her trying to get online. But we were opening up our channels. And I'm connected with a lot of, we went to the same high school, we have a lot of same friends, and it was really interesting bringing awareness through the people that knew me as little Stevie Schwartz, that's been following me for decades, and also been following little Connie Garcia. And she was telling me that some of our high school friends are booking appointments with her, which just makes me really happy. Because it's happening. South Jersey is now activated vibrationally, as is Brooklyn, and New York City is going to be very shortly. And so I feel like the time that we spent there, our work is rooted. So then we were there for a week. Got to see my old roommate from chiropractic school. Hung out with him and his family. We went to Brielle.
That was super awesome for me, and I really, I hadn't been back to Brielle in so long, and it was just so special to just take that picture by that sign, it's just so fun. And I had, so just a little backstory, he was born in New Jersey, my dad was born in New Jersey, and I had two great-grandmothers that lived late into their 90s, and so as a kid I would go visit them in Tom's River, and I would go to Brielle, we'd go to Point Pleasant, and we'd go to the beach, and I have just such good memories of connecting to the ocean and connecting to,
This is where the mermaid is anchored, right?
Yeah, well, and it's, so what Brielle is it's this little community by the Manasquan River where the river meets the ocean. And I think this year was the first time I started really thinking about where Brielle is, and geographically kind of looking at it. And there's no wonder I'm such a water person, because it's a total, it's rivers and ocean right there. And so it makes sense kind of looking at, they say what's in a name, everything. I do embody that, my name. And I think that my name, I don't even realize how magical and profound my name has been in my life. But I love my name, and I'm proud of who I am and as a person. And I think that names have energy, and they have a vibrational reality. There's a vibrational element to names and sounds and words and tones. And so if my mom is watching this, I love you, Mom, and thank you so much for giving me such a beautiful name that I'm so proud of, and naming me after such a beautiful place near the water, just because I feel like it really is such a big part of me, and it was just so wonderful to go back there and just to be in that space, even for that little moment. You know?
Well, and speaking of water, you went to your first fish show.
Fish!
Yeah, fish. So we saw fish, got to hang out with my sisters, and hang out with my mom and my dad, and we really had a great time. And I think just to kind of tie up the East Coast Jersey trip to make it relevant to the Epic Vibe show and what's happening here is, it's all about clearing cellular memory. And myself is probably no different than most of you all watching this show, is we all have axes to grind with our family members, and things have happened and this and that, and we walked in to some dissidents in my family that I'm not even sure, and Brielle, you guys were like, what's that all about? I was like, you know what, somebody heard somebody at some point from something, you know? And at that moment, when we were activating the Vibe Boutique, we were able to really come together and clear cellular memory. And it was really beautiful because I felt I really loved my parents and my sisters and my friends, and it was a total life eclipse.
Well, and there's this idea of the youngest person, or the young people of a lineage of family, being the ones responsible for clearing the ancestral wounds.
Oh, really?
And the if you look at your history as like a family tree,
yeah.
right? You see this tree that comes into all sorts of different spirituality, and I have done some shamanic work that has led me to feel like I actually am the one responsible in my family for clearing those, whatever it is, that's dissonant, that clearing that dissonance and reopening that channel of love and abundance to come through me for generations of my family to come. And regardless of whether I have children or not, I think energetically it's like any person in your life that you're touching, that's a young person, I think of that as like we're a soul family, right? So even if you don't have children, you still have a duty to clear the lineage trauma and clear that cellular memory and clear those blockages that are keeping you from living your highest soul purpose and your soul intention. Just because not living in your highest expression, not living in your most soulful self, is doing a disservice to yourself and everyone around you. And so what do? We clear cellular memory using different tools, but we also do, I've done different practices with different shamanic teachers over the years that have really helped me with that. And I think of that day in New Jersey, I feel like what we did, all going around the circle, just talking as a group about how we would change, like what is the new reality?
What's the dimensional reality?
Just vocalizing with the vibrational nature of our words, just vocalizing what it is that we would like to align ourselves with is a shamanic practice and is a manifestation practice for achieving that.
Well, that's why we were doing it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And it was incredible. As the baby in a Jewish family from the East Coast, we're always competing for words, and to have a captive audience with my family there and allow me to take them through an exercise and being able to really connect with each and every one of them was really special for me. And for them to really do it,
They did.
They weren't just like, oh, little Stevie's doing something. Like they participated, and that was really special. In fact, I loved what everybody said. My sister said that she wanted me to be moved back to New Jersey. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It's the universe But I'm happy to go back and visit more. But my dad, who's a pharmacist, he said that he wants to, the dimensional reality that he would like to exist in is one where there's free, they're free of opioid addiction. And my dad's a pharmacist, and I thought that was very interesting, that was the dimensional reality he wanted to create, which I would love to help support. And actually,
amazing.
His son is creating technology that can help realize that. And I remember my mother, she's got some health issues, and I remember looking, you could feel her energy, because she was like, she had a hard time really trusting a reality that she could step into, which I think is part of the reason that she's in the reality she's in right now. So, anyhow, let's move on from New Jersey. The dimensional shift happened in New Jersey, then we got an airplane, and we flew back to Kansas City, and we were just like giddy school children getting ready to get back. We left our car, the Vimobile, in Kansas City in a safe private lot, and when we came back, somebody stole our license plates.
Not our car.
Not our car. Nobody broke into the car.
No one broke into the car. No one stole anything from us other than our license plates. And so we were, for the first time on the tour, we were kind of in this space of like, I think if it had been any other people other than you and I, it would have been like this like horrible, like, you know, like, oh no, you know. But I think we were really good sports about it. We were tired from traveling, and we were kind of like, what the heck do we do, you know? But we really didn't let it mess up the vibe. I have to say.
I mean, if there was any hiccup in the entire trip, that was it.
Totally.
That was kind of like the only thing that happened on the entire trip.
And it was funny because what did it do? It actually opened a door for us with where we had parked our car was this place called Quixotic, which it is like the place where the Quixotic, which is a performance art troupe and a live band, or like a live performance show that tours all over the world, that they have this beautiful, huge, like warehouse space. And so we had parked in their back parking lot, and they had
with permission.
With permission.
By the owners.
By the owner, and
which is gated and safe.
And their parking lot was like, you know, pretty much empty. You know, it was like just this kind of open space, and it looked like there might be a camera on the back of the building. So when we discovered that the license plate was missing, we decided to knock on the door of the space and go and ask the guy that was in there, Micah, his name was, and just kind of see if there was anything. And we ended up just having a really nice kind of talk with him and kind of sharing about ourselves as we waited for the police to show up, which. And honestly, it was amazing to me how that happening opened that space of meeting him and having that connection. So and why is it interesting? Because I've promoted several shows with Quixotic over the years. Very notably, the Higher Society New Year's Eve party with Alex and Allison Gray live painting that happened at City Hall. Like a couple of years ago on New Year's, I was one of the main people promoting that show online. I remember at the time, and I was so proud because that venue is so big. The City Hall venue was so big, and it was totally sold out. And it was just such an amazing night of performance and music and art. And so it was cool because this was my first time kind of having that connection with Quixotic since that. And that wasn't the first show that I had helped promote and produce with them headlining, but it was cool to see that kind of backstage of like this is where they actually train, and this is, you know, they had some cool projects that they were working on, and we got to kind of have a backstage view. And I don't know, it's just always interesting to me when life throws these like little obstacles in your path, because that, especially ones that require you to like slow down and like stay somewhere for longer than you
Yeah.
we're going to, because you never know. You never know that like what's going to happen next, and you never know who you're going to collaborate with or who you're going to end up running into later on down the line. And Quixotic,
That's called synchronicity.
Synchronicity, and Quixotic is one of those groups that I do seem to have. They keep kind of coming up randomly without me. Like, I'm not putting an intention to have them come up, but they seem to keep kind of coming up for me, and so it's just kind of interesting.
Well, not just that, but then Josh has been wanting to get us connected for the last couple of years.
Right.
And so this totally worked out. So really funny because it took 3 hours for the cops to come, and then when it did, the cop was like this really cute blonde like girl,
The
super
most,
sweet,
like, nice, like,
And nicest-
honestly unintimidating police officer. She had like a cool like 4th of July manicure. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a cop with a nice manicure. I was like laughing about it, but she was so nice, and she was so helpful, and she wrote us this little thing, and then we were on our way.
Well, I think what's interesting is this was going into July 4th weekend, which is about Independence Day, and even the Vibe-mobile. So we're showcasing the stars of the Epic Vibes tour, but the main star of this Epic Vibes tour is parked right outside, and it's the infamous Vibe-mobile. I just the Dodge Caravan. I love this so much. I mean, what a great car that we drove cross country. Not one slightest problem with anything.
Yeah.
Super comfortable, super rad. It held all of our gear. I mean, we had the Vibra Dome. We had our shift pod in there. We had 2, as much as 3 different vibe systems in there. We had all of.
Well, and hear this.
It was everything.
The synchronicity too. Like, we rented a car in New Jersey, and when we went online to rent it, we rented like a sedan, like
a compact car.
And when we get to the place to pick up the car, what do we get? The exact same
Dodge
car as the
Caravan.
Vibe-mobile. Like,
So we got a Vibe-mobile East.
We ended up manifesting basically the same vehicle that we drive here as our rental car out there, totally by coincidence. Synchronicity. And I think it's because maybe that's our vibe.
That's our vibe. So Dodge Caravan, if you happen to be listening to this and you're looking for some vibey spokespeople, we just love your Vibe-mobiles. We love that they get 23 miles to the gallon.
I know.
I mean, really gas-wise.
They hold all of our friends and all of our stuff.
Yeah, super great. And I love the new upgraded GPS system too. Super nice. So we're happy to drive them all over wherever you want us to go if you want to do any kind of special, promo deals with us. So what I was going to say was it was Independence Day weekend, and I feel like the Vibe-mobile was liberated. It was because it was free from its from its labels of being a California car. So we, with our police report in hand, we ventured back 9.5 hours through the prairies
of Kansas
to
Colorado. Again.
Where we arrived in Boulder at sunset. And if any of you happen to see our update that we made, I don't know, maybe about right before July 4th weekend, we did this beautiful update, Facebook Live, pulling into Boulder at sunset. And it was just, we both used to live there, and it was just a very surreal moment. And we were invited from a special new friend that we met at Sonic Bloom, Dr. Kieran, who...
Kirkendall.
Dr. KK.
Dr. KK.
Dr. KK, Dr. Kieran
We
Kirkendall.
love you, Dr. KK.
It's so great. He was at my workshop. Very fascinating chiropractor. We actually we have the same wardrobe. So we're like brothers from another mother for sure.
You guys are, and it's interesting too, because like he's KK, you're SS, and I'm BB. So we were like this little trifecta of just like magic vibes, and like, we got there at sunset. It was just this beautiful beautiful mountain property with just like this total cascading mountain and amazing view of the sparkling city below and this cool, what was the name of that mountain? Some like cool mountain kind of boulder, like it was I would say where we stayed was like the epitome of Boulder.
Yeah, it was like the best.
It was the Boulder.
It was the healing circle.
And there was this beautiful like little creek that we kind of hiked down to on the property that we were looking at gold.
It had gold.
It had gold. We were looking at literally flakes of gold.
We were bathing in gold.
And we were washing our hands in this golden river, and we were setting intentions, and we were drinking cacao, which from Guatemala, that we all have that we've all connected with, and talking about our amazing adventures in Guatemala and Peru, and just having this really amazing like connection and community kind of reintegration with Colorado. Like I feel like both of our experiences in Colorado, both with Sonic Bloom and with going back to Boulder, was just really nourishing for us, because as people who lived in Colorado for so long, and really, you know, I really had no plans on leaving until I connected to this technology, honestly, and it was this technology that opened my mind to there being more out there, and you know, going on a new mission with this company. But I love Colorado. I really do.
I love Colorado too.
It's like one of my favorite places. It is
well,
one of my favorite places.
It's my Venus sunline. And
so,
you know, we went back. I mean, what was really amazing was I was able to go back with my new technology, and Dr. Kieran, I said, can you host a vibe party? He's like, absolutely, at my place. And it was a beautiful mixture of my old sound lounge. So we had people that I was communicating that had my Generation 1 sound lounge. Then we had people there that had my Generation 2 sound lounge. And now we are about to have a large onslaught of amazing new people, which I'm so proud, that are going to be having the new vibes in Colorado. So we're coming back into the state and anchoring down the Dr. Schwartz signature vibe sessions with the most amazing vibe tribe, combination of both the old and the new, all coming together in one big amalgamation of amazing vibrational awesomeness.
Exploding like 4th of July fireworks into epicness.
And we couldn't have been there for any better time than July 4th for the fireworks, because we were bringing the vibrational fireworks. And it's great, just super great. Couldn't have been more happy of that stop in Colorado. Both Brielle and I mean, it was just really special.
There were fireworks.
We had Chinese fireworks, and we had natural fireworks with the amazing.
That was amazing. That lightning storm. We both agree that's one of the top like natural magic experiences we've ever had. With that, we witnessed this incredible lightning storm on 4th of July, the evening of 4th of July. After coming home from the fireworks, we continued to watch fireworks.
From Karen's place up on top of the mountain, we just watched this lightning storm just move over top of us for a few hours. We have a video of it. Probably posted it at some point. Anyhow, moving forward beyond there, this was July 4th weekend, and as we could say, today is July 8th. So we got back. We wanted to be back on 7/7, which we did.
We accomplished.
But so really, we bolted. We got out of there. We stopped in Glenwood Springs and talked with one of my authors, Dr. Tom, he practices up in the Aspen, the Carbondale area.
And he's in the Happy Brain book.
He's in the Happy Brain book as well.
We connected to one of your fellow writers and co-authors.
And he's been messaging me since, and he's like, this is the beginning of a very special, group of people, of authors, and we all feel that way in the book. And it's called the Happy Brain book. I have a video that I'm going to be posting, promoting my chapter in the book. And then all of us, we're going to be promoting this in all of our channels, and it's going to be very special. And it was really great to connect with him. And then we drove all the way to St. George, Utah, which was about an 8-hour journey from Glenwood Springs, and where we ended up meeting up with a dear friend of mine, Yvonne, and she has been another Schwartz supporter since the other company days, and she's been bouncing all around, and we ended up, she's like, please come and stay here. I have people she wanted to introduce us to in St. George. If you've never been to St. George,
total other vortex.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's beautiful, and the drive there was really incredible. Just all those like rocks and like almost like Grand Canyon, like canyons, and just beautiful landscape in Utah. And I had really never done that drive, and so that I remembered. And so that was really cool. That was really cool. I'd say on par with the magic of Sedona in terms of landscape and just really good. We had like a little private vibe party at her place with her roommates and they loved it.
Well, it's not that they love it, but also they're going to be new vibe tribe participants. There's some their own stuff. They're connected deeply into the addiction world, and that's an area near and dear to my heart. And I'm excited to be able to get this technology into as many addiction centers in the world as possible, because this is a great alternative to people that are dealing with any kind of addiction. And they had some very profound experiences. And we actually, what's great, the Brain Tap HRV made an appearance, and we did a before and after with Yvonne Persinger. And we're going to be posting this video very soon. Super profound, because as much as I know her personally, I didn't know much about her health situation, and it painted a very interesting picture. And then we put her on a 35-minute vibe session with very specific music, energy clearing for clearing negative energy out of your nervous system, space, and dwelling, and cell cleanser, which also works with reducing inflammation and clearing toxins and all kinds of things, which I felt, based off of her HRV scan, was what she needed. And 35 minutes later, we did a rescan, and everything was 60% better. Super profound. And she had subjective findings as well too. So, I mean, objective findings as well. So this is why we're doing the HRV testing, because this is not just some vibrating bed. This is a delivery system for the new millennium for shifting and influencing physiology, and receiving harmonic resonant music into the connective tissue, which creates a process which I refer to as body hypnosis or full body neurological entrainment, which I'm going to be discussing in my book. And this was our second to last stop. And then last but not least, actually, what's interesting about the end of this tour, they were supposed to be the people in the beginning of the tour, and now it all lined up synchronistically in the end of the tour, and we were able to roll into
Las Vegas.
Into
Viva
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
And connect with one of my dear friends who is the queen of hair extensions, Michelle Jazz, we call her Michelle Jazz Wisniewski, and she lives in Las Vegas and is one of my mastermind.
And we set up the vibes next to a pool in a cabana, and it was so awesome. It was poolside vibes.
Vibes.
Yesterday, and it was just a really great
Sunday Fun Day vibes.
Sunday Fun Day poolside vibes. Totally love it. Totally. Of all the things we could have done on the last day, after everything we went through, just being able to chill by the pool yesterday and vibe and have the vibes cooked up there, and they looked so cool in that cabana.
So we'll be posting pictures.
Yeah, we'll be posting pictures. We did some clips and stories on Instagram, and we've got tons of pictures from the whole tour, and so that's what we should say. We had an amazing final push from Vegas here last night. I rallied and got us home, and now really I think what the main thing is that we're just going to be pushing out some amazing content social media wise. We took so many incredible pictures. There was no way I could, we shared a few along the way, but we really will be, I'll be posting some albums of some of these amazing, incredible images that we captured over the last 3 weeks. And I'll be, kind of trickling things out with little tidbits of magic and epic vibes. And using.
It really was an epic vibe tour.
It really was.
I feel like we've activated the entire country.
We were at the Atlantic Ocean, and now we're back here home at the Pacific Ocean, and really, so I have to say, what are the places we didn't go?
Well, let's put it this way.
There are a couple places.
So here's what's already brewing. We're already getting a very strong pull down to Florida, and we're also just got invited up to Upper Peninsula, Michigan, actually today, as well too. So these are two areas that are probably going to be in the immediate works, and also we're going to be getting invited down to the Float Conference. I believe in September, back down in Scottsdale. So another visit back down to Arizona in the near future.
But what is coming up
what's
next?
The immediate
so
stuff?
Immediately we're going to be what's next for us? Well, so we've got your class, so we'll be here in LA this week, and then
let's talk.
And then the next event that we'll be traveling outside of the LA area to go to is actually going to be the OC Yoga Festival down in Huntington Beach. So still here in California, but outside of town, outside of Venice in the Marina del Rey area, and that's going to be July 27th and 28th, and you'll be speaking and doing your sonic alchemy journey, and you'll be teaching a workshop there. We'll have a vibe zone set up there, which I'm really excited about. I love Justin Stearman. He's such a great friend and great event promoter and producer, and I just really like him, and I like his events, and I've been so fortunate to just connect with him since moving to California. So shout out to you, Justin.
He's one of those guys in his early days of transition. He said, I'm a Schwartz fan, and whatever you need, you can do with me. And you know what? We have such a busy schedule, and whatever he wants me to do takes precedence, because he's the same as part of the founding Vibe Tribe members. He believed in me when there was no reason to. There's no reason to believe.
There's always a reason.
And I really.
There's always a reason to believe in Dr. Schwartz.
Well, I was feeling kind of down on myself.
Because it's your vibe. That's the thing. It's not about what you say or do. It's about your vibe. It's so much more than that. And
thank you.
So that's a really great segue into the next thing that we have solid and booked. We have quite a few other appearances we're going to be making.
What?
Nothing is solid and confirmed though. But the only other thing that I feel like it's important to announce today is we will be going back to where it all began for us, to the Aloha Kauai Yoga and Peace Festival this October 4th, 5th, and 6th. We are going back to Kauai, and I will be teaching a workshop on manifesting your dream reality, as well as Dr. Schwartz will be teaching a workshop.
To be determined. It's going to be something epic, though, for sure.
And it's going to be an incredible trip to Kauai, just to come full circle from the place we met and to reconnect with the islands. You and I have such a strong connection in Hawaii, and I right before this show I posted on Facebook, what's your dream, describe your dream trip to Hawaii.
I saw that.
And I'm just really interested in seeing, after a few days, to see kind of what people share there, because Hawaii is such a magical place, and it's been such a powerful influence on me. And this next trip will be my third trip, and so getting back into that third time being the charm, you know, and I really feel like this trip is going to be a really awesome trip for both of us.
But we're gonna have to keep that. That's
really all we can say for now.
That's all we can say for now. We need to wrap up the show because I know we went well.
No, we went way over.
We went over, but we need to wrap it up. But I'd like to finish the show with what's the most immediate thing happening right now, which is my class, which is this Saturday in Santa Monica. So my question to all of my Facebook community is, who wants to be a vibrational sound therapist?
Everyone.
Well, if you want to be a vibrational sound therapist, give me a little thumbs up or a little heart on the footage here right now through our live feed. And this Saturday, 12 o'clock to 8, is a one-day class. I'm going to be teaching Level 1 Vibrational Sound Therapy Certification Training. And it's going to be everything you need to know to get you foundationally set up with being an amazing vibe ambassador, with being an amazing sonic alchemist, and being able to use my music and histories and this technology to take it into your community with confidence to really begin helping people. And
harmonizing humanity your community. And I will be sharing at the training a little bit about our affiliate program and how to be an amazing affiliate and how to build your financial abundance using this technology, because that's really what we want. Is we want you to be able to make a living with this technology and not just buy it for yourself, but also to create a business surrounding it. And
if you so choose.
If you so choose.
If you so choose.
And I truly feel like this technology has that power to not only harmonize, you know, humanity, but also to help you manifest your dream reality.
Of course it is, because they're interdimensional portals for your living room.
Of abundance.
Sure.
And I think really what it comes down to is just aligning with that reality in which you sell lives, or not, if that's whatever you want.
So that's this Saturday. Thank you, Brielle, for being the guest on the show. There's still some spaces available for the class. Please register. We're going to post a link. Look for a link through Bioharmonic Technologies in my personal page, Dr. Stephen Schwartz. Till next time, till next Monday at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, this is Dr. Vibe, and this is the Epic Vibe Show with Dr. Vibe. And thank you for tuning in on this extra long recap, exciting episode number 17. Back here in LA, we will see you next week.